It's the Premium
Internets,
Pete
welcome
Show.
back to another episode of the Premium Pete Show. Man, this one, we're going to go real politics style, okay? We're sitting here with the one and only Adem Bunkeddeko. Did I say that right? I feel like I turned it Italian a little bit.
Yeah, that's good. You got the Bunkeddeko. Yeah, I can see it.
What nationality is that last name?
My parents are Ugandan.
Okay.
Yeah. So my parents came over back in the day in the 80s.
You know, I heard that your parents, they fled from the war. Is this true?
Yeah. My dad, both my parents were refugees. So my dad came here in 1980. He had $50, clothes he was wearing, extra cent in the suitcase. Man, he worked minimum wage. First, he went to a detention center first, then got asylum, then worked a number of odd jobs. So he was living out in Newark originally. He was like, man, there wasn't much difference between Newark and Uganda. Newark was the real trap back then. But yeah, he was living right by the Star Ledger building and, just working odd jobs, McDonald's, security guard, janitor. Then came out to the city, was living in a tiny little apartment, same deal, just a bunch of odd jobs, saved up enough money, went back to Uganda and got my mom. 5 years.
So he came by himself?
Yeah, he came solo.
How did he stay in touch with her? Did he FaceTime?
No FaceTime.
Okay.
Yeah, man, he was sending letters. So funny, they had dated each other for a while. So they had known each other since like teenagers. And in fact, on the road, on the way to the airport when my dad was leaving, there were two people in the car, his dad and her. So those were the last two people he saw when he was leaving. And, he was telling her, I'm going to come back. Don't worry. This is going to work out. My mom is like, yeah, right. The country's going to flames. So
sure.
They stayed in touch. They would send letters. They would call. My mom actually started dating another guy.
Really?
Yeah, my mom. They just.
Thank God there was no social media.
Yeah, my dad.
He would have been tight.
Yeah, he would have been hot. But he was just like, look.
He kept his word.
He kept his word. That's the moral of that story, man. He kept his word. So.
So you grew up with mom and dad living together, right?
Yeah.
When you grew up, right?
Yeah. So,
how was that for you?
For me, relative to all the kids that I knew growing up, I was probably unique in that respect, where I had mom and dad. So, everyone I went to school with, there were some folks in the neighborhood. They both had their parents, but, it was somewhat the exception than the rule. And for me, having two folks who were willing to risk life, limb, financial ruin to see their children succeed, at the time, man, it's just a kid, right? It's mom and dad. But, it's only in hindsight when I've gotten older and, have seen, my siblings, brothers and sisters having children, that I realized, man, just relative to everybody else, man, we really had it good. Now, we weren't rich by any stretch of the imagination. I mean, I come home, there's no electricity on, man. I'm doing homework with a flashlight. But, you knew that I had two people who, man, if you asked them to chop off their arms, they would have done it.
Mom cooked a lot?
Yeah, mom cooked.
What did mom chef up?
Oh, mom was definitely the cultural stuff, man. So a lot of rice.
Okay.
Chicken stews. Funny enough, has a real tinge, like West Indian tinge to it, man. So they used to smash green bananas, man. So, the Dominican cats I knew were just like, oh, yeah, this is similar to the stuff I eat. Sure. Yeah, so they were just they would love coming over to our house and, eating, the food. But my mom, best cook I know. At
a young age, right now you're obviously a candidate to become a congressman in Brooklyn. Yeah. When you were young, what did you even want to be? Let's give teenage years.
Yeah, man, this is so wild. I
grew up in Queens, right?
I grew up in Queens, Elmhurst, man, Elmhurst. And it's so crazy, growing up. So, we didn't have much, and my parents are immigrants. So, especially in Uganda and Ugandan culture, man, there's basically 5 professions you have. You're an accountant, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you're a nurse, or you're a professor. Everything else is useless. There's nothing more to life than those 5 professions.
No sports? Nobody? Is there a Ugandan star? In no sports.
Come
Any
on,
sports?
bro.
I
What
say
sport?
nothing. Nothing. No hockey.
Hockey.
No basketball. No football.
Come on. Actually,
No bobsledding.
Brian Chiwoneka.
Okay.
Yeah, Matthias Chiwoneka, who played for the Giants.
Oh,
Yeah.
I know him.
So
yeah.
he's actually Ugandan. Like,
Really?
yeah, like even my dad was just like, who the heck introduced him to that sport? Like, I was just like, so growing up, for us there was like, and it's funny, my parents didn't really impose like that the profession stuff on us.
Sure.
They were just like, these are the professions we know. People make a good living,
Sure.
so on and so forth. Yeah, you should, consider it. So, and my mom like held doctors in like the highest esteem. So growing up, I thought I was going to be a doctor. I was going to be a surgeon. So, took nothing but like science courses, loved bio, loved chem, loved it all.
Now, what high school you went to?
Arts and business.
And that's in Queens?
In Queens, Corona, Queens, right off Horace Harding. Building hood as heck. Like no windows, nothing. I think it used to be a bowling alley or something like that.
Chocolate milk, butter crunch.
Oh
cookies?
yeah, man. Like, this was, real. Like, so I was zoned for Newtown High School out in Elmhurst. And Newtown was so overcrowded. They sent the excess to arts and business or to John Bound, I think. And arts and business was the closest, so I just chose that. That's how it ended up.
You went to Harvard, right?
I did.
Okay. This is not something you just say, oh, you went to Harvard. You're in high school.
Yeah.
You're in Elmhurst, Queens.
Yeah.
Your parents are telling you these professions that a lot of family members and people of the culture do, and that do well.
Yeah.
Okay, could be good livings.
Yeah.
Especially I think about my parents too. It's kind of like people. That's why I really love how people complain. I think it's any generation, but we evolve.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is like even my parents. I think that they think like a 9 to 5. You go to work 9 to 5. You go home. You have benefits. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, you got a pension.
You know what I mean?
That's a good look.
That's changing a lot now, and you look at it. Even like I was talking to Gary Vee a couple episodes ago, and we were talking about like growing up. Like I was a paper boy, and if I was lucky, I made like $70 for the week, But the point I'm making is the only other hustle was for me to probably do something that probably wasn't the right thing. You could work, but you would never bankroll like you can today.
Yeah.
I mean, people could go on eBay and sell things and make crazy profit. I mean, there's sneaker resellers that are 13 years old that are making tons of money. There's so much opportunities. And yeah, maybe our parents think that way, but so I'm glad to see it evolving. But I want to get off the track of what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Is you're a kid from Queens.
Yeah.
Ugandan. How do you say? How do I say it right?
Ugandan. Yeah.
Ugandan is cool, right?
Yeah.
Ugandan family. How the fuck did you get to Harvard?
So this is where the story really gets interesting. So growing up, again, I come from very modest means. Like my parents didn't know really about the whole sort of system as a whole, like education wise. So, but they had the best of intentions. So I had an uncle, funny enough, and I don't really think he's our uncle, but like man, people just grow up and they just
I know what you mean.
My dad
could be a next door neighbor.
Yeah, my dad. Next door neighbor.
This is your uncle.
Guy who used to cut the grass. Like, oh, that's your uncle, man. Like, so my uncle Badru and my dad, they came to the country around the same time. Unlike my dad really, it took him like ages to go through school. But Uncle Badru came here as he was sponsored by the government to go to, I think originally it was to go to like the University of California at Berkeley. And then, he decided, what, I'm going to stay. So he transferred to Stern right here, NYU, to do an MBA. Then he, made a life, started working, and he worked at Columbia for a long time. And his kids, funny enough, went to private schools. So they went to like the fancy ones out in New Jersey, like Montclair, Kimberly, and Lawrenceville. And he had noticed when he would come to our house that, Adam ain't really working. Like, I mean, he's getting good grades and all, but like, my man is just playing Nintendo 64 way too hard right now. And he was just like, to my dad, Sula, you should tell Adam, man, maybe he should consider going to private school. This was like 9th grade. Meanwhile, I'm a kid from the hood, like just doing my thing, playing basketball, trying to save up some money to get Jordans. And, my parents approached me with this, like, yo, your Uncle Badru thinks, he gave me a list of schools you should consider. The list was some fancy, ritzy schools. Andover, Choate, Exeter. Like, I mean, schools you just, like, presidents and senators and their children go to, right? 9th grade. I remember thinking, y'all trying to send me away? I ain't no juvenile delinquent. Mind you, I'm from Queens, man. That's when people get sent away.
Sure.
It's usually not for the good, right? So I was like, nah, X that idea. Fast forward, 10th grade rolls around and you're getting older. You're trying to think about what life is going to be like. I'm thinking, man, I think this whole college thing might be something I might want to do. Mind you, like nobody at arts and business, like very few people went off to go to college. So I'm thinking, all right, let me check out these schools. Let me do some homework. What's the worst that happens, right? Then I start researching, and man, these places look like college campuses. I'm just sitting there thinking, well, damn, maybe this ain't such a bad gig after all. So I'll never forget it. The first time I went up to one of these schools, Choate, I think it was. My mom, Merritt Parkway in Connecticut. Mind you, I never, you just don't, you're from the hood, man, you just don't see these. Merritt Parkway is like one of the prettiest little highways you'll ever ride around. It's going through some of the richest towns in Connecticut. Darien, Westport, Greenwich, you name it. So then we get to Choate, Wallingford. And I'll never forget it. I remember we were pulling up and you just see this big building. Like it's just modern looking. And I'm reading the sign and I'm like, oh shit, this thing is the auditorium? And I'm like, and then they say who the architect is. It's some cat named Ian Pei. And I'm like, Ian Pei is, years later I find out Ian Pei is like a legit, like award-winning like architect. So I get to admissions and I'm sitting down and, I see this one kid, clearly like nanny or au pair came and brought him. Like this other kid, white kid, just nervous. Like, oh my God, I don't know, this interview is gonna be crazy. Like, and I'm sitting there, obviously, because I don't even know what's at stake. I'm just sitting here chilling, and my mom is like, "Who's the painting of behind you?" And I'm looking at it. It's like, oh, it's JFK, and he's like class of something, right? So then it hit me there, like, oh, this is really different. Like, this is an unusual opportunity. So as I started to apply to these schools, I started to realize, man, there's a different world than the world I've been used to all my life. When people were talking about, like, the colleges that they were going to, it's like, oh, I'm going to Stanford. Oh, I'm going to Princeton. Oh, I'm going to here. And I was thinking back about it in my own context. I'm like, man, I don't know no one like this. And that's when it started to really dawn on me, like, man, there's another game out there that I'm not knowing about. And if you're really trying to make it in this, you gotta really be pushing to really change the where you at.
Was it a culture shock for you?
Oh man. So I ended up going to Pennington. So I got a scholarship, and total culture shock, man. I remember the first time like tapping the other black kid in the class, like, yo, what's equestrian? And I'm like, yeah, you're riding horses. Like, and I mean, I came in at 11th grade. So it was a weird time. In high school, man, like people from ninth grade, they got their cliques, they got everything, they got all sorts of things going on. And I remember thinking, man, I'm a person of color. My parents ain't got no money. I'm here on a scholarship. I am just so vastly different than like what is going on. So I remember feeling like really socially isolated those years when I was at Pennington, like, and really just taking solace in the fact that, like, look, I had an opportunity that most folks from where I'm from would be happy to take. So who am I to be like complaining about it? But in hindsight, I remember thinking like, man, this was a painful time to be here. Like,
now, did you get a scholarship to?
Yeah.
On what?
So it was basically my parents didn't have any bread, so it was literally like, oh, we'll give you money to just come. Like, so that was really what it boiled down to.
Now, do you feel like getting into the game of politics?
Yeah.
And want to become a congressman?
Yeah.
Do you feel like having Harvard on your resume is like kind of like a battle against other people that are, say, candidates?
Yeah, I mean, funny. It's like I'm grateful for the opportunity to have gone to Harvard Business School, but like, man, at the end of the day, like, I would hope that no one would hold it against me. One, because I hope we tell our kids in our community, man, aspire, like, go to the best. Like, why would you knock anyone who would be about that?
Yeah.
But I do think, and this is something that I'm often reminded about is, man, just because you went there don't mean shit. Like, my sister, my mom, they'll be the first one to tell you, hey, look, buddy, like, you cool, but like, don't let it get ahead of you. So,
to me, it's the one thing that's amazing about schools like that and Ivy League schools like that is that it really does have this this kind of like top-notch feeling. When I think about it, even just sitting here talking with you and saying like, you graduated from Harvard.
Yeah.
It's a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And I say it because it's like, it's almost like a notch under your belt. It's like where people, and unfortunately we live in a world where people judge you.
Yeah.
And when they find out that you have graduated from Harvard, it's kind of like, wow, people look at you like, oh wow, you know what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, I think so. It's funny, like because it's funny. There was I know what it's like to have not gone to Harvard before and what it's like after, I suppose. And I'm like, I'm still the same person. Like, I don't think it's any. And I'm truly appreciative of the opportunity. But you're right. I think some people think, man, you can go out there, you can just solve everything. And I'm like, nah, not really. I mean, I've learned a lot in Queens and in Brooklyn. Like, I mean, I think that should count for something. But for me, it's more about how are we messaging this to folks. So I think what I hope we can be able to do, and at least I'd love to be able to do, is sort of break down like this idea, because people mythologize it too much, and then it almost creates this image that, oh, it's almost impossible to do. And I'm like, nah, not really. You just gotta work hard, apply, and it can happen too. Like,
and again, forgive me for some of my, not knowledge of politics, but so when you become a congressman of Brooklyn, right?
Yeah.
Is there a certain borough or it's just the whole Brooklyn?
So it's parts of Brooklyn. So I got Crown Heights, I got Prospect Heights, I got Park Slope, I got Flatbush, East Flatbush, Sheepshead Bay,
Dirty Wine.
Yeah, Dirty Wine, Wangwan, man. Like, we got a lot of the West Indian parts. We got Prospect, Lefferts Gardens. I mean, it's a big, diverse district. Yeah.
Is it like every 4 years, like a presidency?
Every 2 years.
Okay, every 2 years.
Yeah, every 2 years.
So you've been out of college for what?
Ooh, I graduated 09.
Okay, 09.
And I graduated business school 17. So, yeah.
What makes you want to do this now?
Yeah. I think,
how old are you now?
I'm 30.
Okay, 30.
Yeah.
What did you just wake up one day and say fuck? Because you could have been any of those things that your mom or dad said.
Shit, yeah.
You could have been anything, say, you wanted.
Yeah.
Because you seem like somebody that could put their mind to something and just do it.
Yeah.
But you want to be the next congressman in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Why?
For me, it really boils down to a couple of things. So, one, my background. My parents, they came here with modest means. Both of them found work as social workers. I've been super privileged in life in the fact that I've had an amazing education. But we had to work hard and we had to fight hard for it. But there are a lot of families in our community, man, like that are suffering on a real day-to-day basis, man. Like they're getting crushed by rising rents. They're worried about whether loved ones are going to get picked up by ICE. And black and brown folks in our community, criminal justice issues, there's deep inequity in the system. And for me, it's not enough to just simply talk about these problems. We got to make a difference on these problems.
So again, not saying like I just don't know a lot about politics in the sense that. So if you do become congressman in Brooklyn,
yeah,
what does that mean? What are you able to do? Like, okay, I know you said that what you want to do.
Yeah.
But do like what access do you have once you're what do they call it? Once you're
a lawmaker?
No. Meaning when you win, you're what? What do they call that? When you become what is it called? Elected. That's right. When you're elected.
Yeah, when you're elected.
When you're officially elected congressman, like what rights do you have to start and getting to work? Like just because the reason why I'm saying this for is because I'm sure there's a lot of people like me.
Yeah.
Who may be listening.
Yeah.
That may not know what like honestly. I guess a bigger question is what the fuck does a congressman do?
That's a great question. I think so. It's a couple of things, right? So the basic gist of it is that you make laws in this country, federal laws. You are in. That's what the Congress, both the House, United States House of Representatives, and the United States Senate are their main obligation. So, in particular, at winning this seat would mean we not only give voice to those whose voices aren't heard, working families who are trying to put food on the table, keep a roof over their head, make sure their kids are going to decent schools, but you get to shape a vision for this district, but also using the platform of both being in D.C., but also here in the city about raising awareness on issues, passing legislation that's going to make a difference in working families' lives. And 3, putting on notice and speaking truth to power to Mr. Trump. So Trumpito, man, he is literally going to blow this whole thing up, man. Like, and we got not only to fight back against him, but we've also got to fight for the things that matter to us, especially working class communities of color, man. Like, we have been suffering for a while, and if we don't stand up and fight for these things, speak truth to power, have the courage to do the right thing, we're not going to make any improvements on all the issues that we are falling behind on.
So, Congressman, every 2 years.
Every 2 years.
So if you get elected in, then you would have to
2018.
You have to again have to. So how many terms could you do?
You can run as many times as
really.
You want. Yeah.
And what's the salary looking like? Is it good business? Or?
Yeah, I mean, relative to my classmates from Harvard, man, I won't be making that much.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like 170. I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. Absolutely.
I'm sure. Now,
what
are some of the people who went to Harvard? Have you kept in touch with any of them?
Oh, absolutely, man.
I mean,
they're the ones giving me money.
Fucking scientists.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these cats are actually a lot work in finance for sure. Some are management consultants. Some are working at companies. Some are doing startups. Some are actually doing nonprofit stuff.
I like that.
Yeah, not many. I'm in a lonely camp, but like there's a lot who are just making paper.
You know what I love about college? I didn't get a chance to go. I went to night school at Pace.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to go away like a dorm type of, but you know, I would say, I always tell, just like I tell my daughter, a degree is better to have than not to have.
Yeah.
But the networking that you get from those 4 years in college are impeccable, man. I mean, think about it. Just like you said, some of them are, supporting you and what they believe in. Like that again is a bond, man. That you can't. These things can't be created, man. It can't just be created by anybody. It's very organic, very authentic, and very over the years of believing what somebody is doing.
Yeah, no, I definitely. That's why. I mean, it's so wild. Like, and the crazy part I will say about it's not even the networking. It's like the ethos of the place. Like
break that down. What ethos?
Yeah, at like Harvard Business.
Give me the word of the day. See, now you dropping Harvard words on me. I'm just
come
a public
on,
school
play
kid.
man. I'm sure Drake or Jay over there dropping the ethos in one of their rhymes. Like,
what does ethos mean?
Yeah.
Do I have to X area? Hold on.
Yeah, well,
what's it called? Ethos?
Yeah, ethos, man. I think the crazy shit about a place like Harvard Business School is like, man, everyone there thinks they are gonna win. Like the mentality is so different.
Confidence is
high.
high.
It's just crazy. Like there is no one is like, man, I just don't know if I'm gonna be able to buy groceries, man. Like the struggles are so different. It's just like the crazy thing is like people will say like, yo, what's your number? And I'm like, what do you mean what's your number? Like how much is it like you trying to get? Like which again, it's the same mentality in the hood too, right? Like if you trying to get that paper, you trying to hustle. So that's why I'm like, really the difference here is like people's access, is people's parents, people education. Like that's really the mentality. I think is still the same. Like, yo, we can win. Like everybody here can win. Like, which is, I think, to me, something that I wish we had more of in like the schools that I grew up in.
Sure.
Like there's this kind of idea like, yo, let's just get by. Like, let's just get by. And I'm like, when I went to boarding school, when I went to Haverford, when I went to Harvard, it's like, yo, we're gonna win. Like we got this. Like,
did the government shutdown affect you?
No, I wouldn't say it directly affect me, but folks definitely, I mean, especially folks who are worried about like Medicare, Social Security, like folks I know in the community for sure, like that's something that worries them about whether or not they're going to be able to get payments. And a lot of folks live on fixed income, like in central Brooklyn, right? So they got to make rent, they got to buy groceries, they got to do all these sorts of things, which if the government is shutting down, that's not a good look, right? So
now with the money that, like you say, friends from Harvard are donating or people that believe in you, where does that money go to? Like, is it promo? Is it?
Yeah, man, it's just taking the message out in the street. It's literally just having more folks, like more ways we can touch people. So whether that's knocking on doors, whether that's going and doing digital stuff,
how's social media been for you?
Social media has been interesting, man. I'm new. I'm kind of a new cat to the game. So
you on Twitter?
Yeah, I'm on Twitter.
What's your handle on there?
Adem Bunkeddeko.
How do you even say that? And so it's ADEM.
Yeah, ADEM. B as in boy. U NK EDDEKO. Man, it took me a while to learn how to spell it too.
Man, that's some fucking jersey, man. Like
yeah.
if you're on the back of like a jersey, how many letters is that?
Shit, I don't even.
Not that bad. Probably like 8 or 9. I'm not even thinking of how many is it. Let me get a count. 10? Fuck, man.
Yeah, fuck, man.
I won't ever play hockey, bro.
Oh man.
Now let me ask you, what's your overall goal? You get into Congress, you want to be a president? You want to be a senator?
Shit, man.
What do you want
to win this race?
Okay, well I know this is what's ahead of you.
Yeah, I think for me, the way I would put it, man, I think about public service and saying like, I just want to be as useful as the community needs me to be, right? And that could come in many capacities, right? Right now, I think it's in Congress. That may change over time, right? But to me, it's like whatever I say is kind of meaningless unless it's coming from the community, unless it's coming from a context.
Sure.
So that's the way I would kind of put it.
Now, the candidate you're going up against, like, is this like a brutal running like the presidency was? Is she talking like shit about you, or is like her job, or it's a woman who's running, right?
Yeah, it's
so is it her or his, whoever, even if it was a guy, is it her or his job to put you down, to make you look bad, to make you look like you're not capable of being a congressman?
Yeah, I think they may, as far as I know, the trash talking hasn't occurred. I'm prepared for it if it comes, but I want to keep the campaign really about like vision and ideas, man. Like that's what we need, man. We don't need like kind of this petty like. I mean, has this happened yet to you or not? I as far as I know, it hasn't. Like,
okay, nice.
Maybe my ears aren't deep in the street, man.
Hey, listen, that's the real street.
Yeah, that's the real streets popping. Like, so, like that's. But for me, it's really about like vision and ideas, man. We got folks struggling to pay rent.
Sure.
We got.
How do you plan to help them?
So my plan on that is I want to be bold, man. I want to make sure that folks who make between $30,000 and $80,000 not only have access to rentals, but also have a pathway to ownership. So the issues around gentrification, particularly in communities, working class communities and working class communities of color, is everybody in the community mostly rents.
Sure.
So like when new restaurants and when all these folks come in, like, and all this investment, it's not folks who built up the community who get to benefit from it, which I think is the real inequity. And a lot of these communities, I don't know if you know about redlining, but like a lot of them were redlined into by the federal government back in the day, like in the 1930s into the 1960s. So we got folks of color who were basically told these are the neighborhoods y'all gonna live in, and then we're told you can't own anything. And then the cruel irony to it is now they're being pushed out of those communities that they were told this is where you're gonna live. So for me, we need to make sure that not only folks who, again, have been there, built it up, did everything that they were supposed to do, not that they get pushed out, but that they own the communities that they have.
Own something. You know, it's funny too, because growing up and being a renter all my life, it's funny because until I met my lady later on in life, I never really owned anything.
Yeah.
And she helped me, get into understanding home ownership.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. I will say one reason why I liked renting, because you didn't have to deal with all these extra fucking headaches and problems. But that's what life is about. Like, for you to own something, you got to fucking be driven crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, like, we paid mortgage, and then she was like, oh, yeah, the water. And I'm like, water? And, it was like a big, and then the tax we paid quarterly. And I'm like, holy shit, like, pay the water, the sewage, the fucking this, that. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Let me tell you something, man. Even, and overall, even just owning a home.
Yeah.
In this day and age is bullshit. A person could work all their life to own a fucking home. Let him not pay his fucking taxes 1 year. Say goodbye to your fucking house. I don't know, man. I mean, that's just a whole nother, like, story, but even I think taxes should change in the sense of, like, why do we pay for all these things, and are they accounted for correctly? And are they affordable for people? You know, I mean, it's like, you think about it, it's like, and I don't know. I mean, do we change? Again, this is maybe not. This is just us talking. This maybe man, not on the line. Like, okay, so say if my father, if he's still paying taxes, but say none of his kids are in school anymore, and is he excluded from paying so much because they say this goes to the schools or this goes here, but. Figure that shit out on your own. Like I don't know if it's a private school, figure it, or if it's a public school. Do we have some type of, the reason why I say that for is because it's crazy to me that someone could work their whole life to become a homeowner and then not pay his taxes 1 year or for the house and like you. I guess what I'm trying to say, when you think about it, you really don't own anything because it could be taken from you.
Yeah, I think
I'm not saying don't pay any taxes. I'm just saying some people out here paying, 8, 9, 10, 7, 12, 15. I mean, when it starts getting higher, those are people I'm sure that could afford it. But it's it's a lot of money, man. So it costs and I think that's the problem too. Even just, it's like almost when you think about like growing up in like, look, I grew up in a neighborhood, like I didn't have health insurance for a lot of years. You know why? Because I fucking couldn't afford it. But then again,
I ain't got health insurance now.
Hey, listen, fuck, man. We better make sure you're okay.
Yeah, man.
Want a healthy congressman?
Yeah, man.
I don't know. It's like and I guess sometimes it's like when you have to pick and choose what you want to have in your life. It's usually what's the less cheapest.
Yeah.
I grew up. I remember. It's whatever. It's not about me. But.
No, but I mean, I think you raised a couple of points there. Like, so home ownership, and particularly in America, man, you got to think about it. It's the way that people like build wealth, right? So like the disparity between like groups, like between blacks and whites. Like, I don't know if you saw that. I don't know if you caught that story in the Boston Globe, but they were talking about like black people's net worth is negative in Boston. Like they owe more than they have. And white folks, they had like, I don't know, like 200K or something like that. And it was basically because they have houses that they own. And to me, that's it's a way in which you can generate not only your ability to have a cushion when things get rough, but you can use it as a retirement nest egg. You can pay for college, all sorts of things that come with the so-called like American dream. Now, the other point you were talking about, like taxes. Yeah, that's inherently unfair, right? So we tax like low and middle income folks way higher as a percentage of income relative to folks who got a lot of money. That's just crazy to me. Like, if you are the top 1% in America, how are you paying less? Like Warren Buffett said it best. I pay less percentage in taxes than my secretary. What kind of wild shit is that? Like, what kind of society are we going to have if basically you're saying, well, if you a billionaire, you could have a better, like, you're going to have a better tax arrangement than the people that work for you? Like, to me, that's something like that income inequality. Like, we need to tackle that. Because, like, if we don't tackle that, man, this whole project we call America, this shit might fall apart. So...
Listen, man, you're spitting some gems. You're spitting some knowledge.
Man.
You're
just happy with being around the sneaker king, man. I used to wear Payless, bro.
Hey, listen.
I'm trying to keep up with you, man.
I was there at Payless, but I said fuck that.
Yeah.
but I will say, sneakers are more of like a stock exchange now.
Oh yeah, man.
And it's a multi-billion-dollar business, and I'm all about learning how to. I think that's what this platform too is like learning how to, like be an entrepreneur, or learning how to get through situations, or learning how people, maneuver their way through certain things. Like just like you talking to you and figuring out Congress and what's up next. But listen, let's take a quick break. Yeah. We're sitting here. You're gonna help me with this name again. Adam, I'm just gonna say, listen, we're sitting here with the one and only Congressman to be. Or we'll see, Congressman or candidate for Congressman or we'll see. We may have to edit that change when you win, man.
Yeah, man. You could call me Bunk, man. That's what everybody.
Adem Bunk. How do you say it?
Bunk is my nickname.
Really?
Yeah.
But I got to give the full name.
Yeah, Bunkeddeko, man.
We're talking about Congress right here.
Yeah, I got to. If I say it the way my parents say it, that's like you adding that like tinge, like.
Well, I'll say it like this. Internet's, we're sitting here with Adem Bunkeddeko.
I love it.
And we'll be right back. Cheer. Internet's, and we're back sitting here with Adem Bunkeddeko.
Yeah,
he's running for Congress.
Yeah, man.
Running for Congress in Brooklyn.
Yeah, man.
I mean, a Harvard graduate.
Yeah.
A Queens resident.
Queensborn bred.
Queensborn, yeah.
Yeah, Queensborn.
Family, family did a lot of muscle and hustle
Yeah.
to get you here.
Oh my God. Countless.
And now you are trying to make the world, particularly in Brooklyn for now, a better place.
Yeah.
Why do you think the youth voting is so low?
I think it's partly because, man, we ain't got folks who look like the youth, man.
Sure.
Real talk, like, it's hard for younger people to really take part in a process that they don't, A, relate to, and B, they don't see anyone who looks like them, right? And that's, I think, something that we can overcome. It's obviously going to take folks of a different generation to get into the mix. But I wouldn't say it's because people don't care. Like, that's usually like, oh, yeah, they just don't care. Those younger people, they just want to have fun and do whatever. And it's about, like, especially now, I mean, with Trump, man, he's literally pissing people off day in, day out, doing all sorts of ridiculousness.
He's trying to get his Twitter lit, man.
Yeah, man, he's trying to get all sorts of things lit.
That
man.
boy stay on Twitter, man.
Yeah, man.
Yo,
I'm like, does he work? Like,
honestly, man, I never thought a day in my life that we would ever see a president that lets you know every move. I mean, I grew up, and Diddy told us, "Bad boys move in silence."
Yeah.
I never thought that. Like, it's crazy to me how he tells and shows every emotion.
Oh yeah.
Of what he's feeling and what is next. Which, as a president, why would you want the world to know that? Forget about on top of all the other shit.
Yeah, I mean, but he's just like, part of it, I just realized, like, because it's crazy. His antics, man, those are all like personal slights.
What about when he has to use two hands to drink water? Yeah, the internet's undefeated, man. Yeah.
I was dying when I saw that. I was like, man, you gotta be wild. I'm like, what, you got a sippy cup, man, behind the lectern? Like, what kind of nonsense is this, man?
Now, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
You're running for Congress in Brooklyn. Yeah. What happens if you don't win?
Man, if I don't win, man, we're going to continue to make a difference in as best as I can. Obviously, I think we're going to win. There's no question about it. But, I'm definitely not going to be someone who says, well, if I don't win, I'm moving to Antarctica, man. I'm done. No, you just find ways to make a difference. But for me, I feel like, at least at this point in my life, public service will encompass politics. So long as, my parents are in good health, my family's in good health, they don't need me to bear a lot of the economic burden that, for a long time was the primary concern.
People who in Congress, just from my analogy, what I'm thinking, people who don't even really know you, believe in you to make change.
Yeah.
You afraid of letting them down if you win?
Nah, man, to me, and this is something that I always tell the people I grew up with, people who know me well, my family, like, look, I'm going to go in there, I'm going to fight day in and day out. And if we work hard and we do our thing, we're going to make progress. It ain't going to be easy. Change was never easy. Like, I mean, you ask anyone as I've read about social movements, like, whether it's civil rights, whether it's folks championing for gay rights, women's rights, you name it. It ain't easy. Like, it's definitely hard. So I always tell folks, like, yeah, we can do this, but, like, I don't want you to be fooled in the fact that, like, it ain't gonna get done in one day, right?
Sure.
So long as we keep pushing, we gonna get there. Like, I'm always often reminded about my mom. We're talking about someone who survived the Civil War. I mean, when my mom, her mother lived in a forest for like months, like eating bananas and berries. Like, she never gave up hope. And when, we had challenging times when I was growing up, my mom would often remind us, like, man, y'all are lucky. Like, don't forget that. Like, I survived the war. your grandmother survived that war because we always had faith. And if you anchored in faith, you gonna get there. Now, you gonna get there as quickly as you want? No. But you'll get there. So
I'll tell you, man, you may need me as your campaign manager, man. I'll have you in Yeezys.
Yeah, bruh.
Kids, have you in Yeezys. 50% off pasta. Free beef patties going around.
Oh, man.
Dollar cabs on the
You know me, man.
Woo!
I'm all about it, man. You get the oxtail or curry goat, man. We in there, like. Now let me ask you something. You're 30 years old, right? Yeah.
Okay, I thought you were going to say you're going to be 30 or you're 30.
Nah, I'm 30. I'm 30, man. I feel it.
Hey, listen, 30 is beautiful.
I ain't got no hair no more, man. That's wild, man.
Wait till you hit
I used
the
to
next
have
step.
waves, bro.
Really?
Yeah, spinning,
Okay.
natural, like just wake up, swirl, right?
Some of your most recent things that you have been proud of and accomplishments.
Yeah.
How have you celebrated them? Do you celebrate any of your accomplishments? Like when you graduated from Harvard.
Yeah.
That was a big accomplishment.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Like, I'm not the type to like really like throw like a big party. Like I feel like maybe I'll start to do that as I get older in life and more appreciative. But for me, when you talk about the Harvard piece, it's like I just remember my mom, like at graduation day. It was pouring rain, but she was just in tears the whole day. And I had to, I was like, Mom, come on, like it's cool. We here, we got it. But I had to think about it and put myself in her perspective. My mom came here, she got a GED. She went to community college and had to drop out because she had to raise us and put food on the table. When, all the challenges that they went through, whether it was like putting food on the table, paying rent, keeping the lights on, man, there were just so many times when they could have just given up. And my mom talks about that. Like, there was a time when, your father and I, we just didn't think we could make it here.
Sure.
And, when she told me that, when she was thinking about that at graduation, she was just like, man, you succeeded way beyond our wildest imagination. Like, we were just happy that you guys were healthy, staying out of trouble, not getting into anything that would have put you in harm's way. Go ahead. No, but the fact that you would get to this point, this.
Hey, listen.
That was deep for her, and that moved me. Like, because I always thought about it like, this is just like, we just doing that. We just out here, like we hustling, we moving, we got to keep the pace. But it's only when I see it through their vantage point that I start to always think about like, man, I should be more celebratory about this.
As a parent, I can understand that feeling. Coming up, my daughter's going to college this coming year.
Damn, congrats, bro.
When I bring her to college, I foresee a lot of tears.
Yeah.
And just happy tears. It's
maybe because that tuition bill about to hit.
Well, yeah. those are gonna be the Jordan tears.
Yeah, those are the Jordan tears.
But
you gotta sell a few kicks, man.
Oh yeah. We'll get her through. We gotta make sure those things didn't turn yellow though. But you know what? Here's the time for people to pay attention.
Yeah.
Where can they go if they want to vote you in? Let's start with the people from New York City.
Yeah.
Where can they go if they want to, vote you in?
If you live in Crown Heights, if you live in Flatbush, if you live in East Flatbush, you live in Brownsville, you live in Midwood, Garrettson, all that, please register to vote first so you can make sure you're on the rolls. If you want to be a part of this, volunteer, you can sign up on our website, www.ademforcongress.com. Also, if you want to donate, man, we taking bones from everywhere, man, across the country.
Best Nations donation.
Yeah, Best Nation donation, man. Same place, www.ademforcongress.com. taking only American dollars, but love the support, man. Love the support.
Okay, no rubles.
No rubles, man. No rubles, man. I don't mess with the whole Russia stuff, man.
Now let me ask you,
Team America, man.
young kids listening right now, and never even thought about running for Congress.
Yeah.
Never ever thought about possibly getting into politics.
Yeah.
What is your advice for them?
Man, I would say, in particular, just think about what your community needs. Think about it from that perspective. That's at least the way I've always tried to approach it, as opposed to like kind of seeing it from me. Like, it's good to have ambition. It's good to drive hard, but like, you want to make sure that you're doing it from a right place. And part of it is just like doing well in school, man, learning civics, like reading the news, doing all the things that may not seem cool right now, but like, again, if you are thinking about making a difference, you got to have some grounding, and that grounding starts when you're young. So
Now, did you pick a team yet, or you do that if you get elected in?
nah, I'm a Democrat player, man. I can't mess with that other team.
Oh, so there's no teams?
Oh nah, man. I'm D.
No, meaning like when you come in Congress, do you hire anybody else around you?
Oh yeah. We'll definitely, shit, man. We gotta win this election, man. You getting ahead of the curve, man. I'm trying to get people to, throw us some shekels, man. You out here hiring people, man.
Now, any plans on getting married?
Yeah, man. That's the other thing. That's the thing that brings my mom tears, man. Why you not married yet? I'm
I'm married as Congress.
Yeah, I'm married to the game.
Yeah.
But no, I think for me, I'm taking it one day at a time, man.
Let me tell you something. Just my advice to you, as somebody who's been divorced and somebody who's back in the game.
Yeah.
With children too. I have a son that's 3.
Yeah.
Daughter's 18. Big gap. Big difference. Tough. Take your time, man.
Yeah.
Take your time. People rush. They rush to get divorced.
Yeah.
And
that's real.
I will say, take your time to love and enjoy each other.
Yeah.
Like people, I'll give you an example. People go out to eat. They have a nice chill-on sea bass.
Yeah.
Maybe the girl gets sea scallops.
That's some nice stuff, man. I ain't been eating that in a while. I've been eating ramen these days, man.
Ramen's cool.
Yeah, ramen's cool, man.
She drinks. I'm talking about this date that you go on. She drinks like a Cosmo. Maybe you have yourself a wine or a beer.
Yeah.
And, you hit it off, hang out, and you kind of like conversate and have some of the same values.
Yeah.
And maybe that leads into just hanging out or sexual.
Yeah.
And then people say, let's get married. Like, what the fuck? Like, take the time to fucking go on more dates. Maybe have a salad with grilled chicken, I don't know. I'm saying it's like, how I realize that, and don't get me wrong, love is beautiful. I don't think many people stay together as they used to anymore. Just look at the divorce rate.
Yeah.
But I do believe love is beautiful, but I do believe that, and this is not a fucking marriage counseling episode, but love each other. Don't worry about marriage only. Yeah. Like love, like really love each other. Like that paper doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
I remember like people saying like, even my ex-wife, I remember saying like, oh, once we get married, everything changes. Like, what the fuck? Like, am I out here? Like, what changes? Like, that's the thing. People think like something changes, but
yeah.
And I will say like, take your time.
Yeah.
Find your goals. Help the world like you're gonna do.
Oh, you sound like my bro, man.
No, I pray that you get elected. Yeah. You get in, and you're able to make changes, because that's good for your soul too.
Yeah.
To be able to, do better, man. Do better for this world. Yeah. So do better for this world, and take your time. And when you find someone you're having fun with, and going out to eat and eating sea scallops
and Chilean sea bass, yeah, I mess with that.
Just have another one. Have another date, and hang out, man. And find yourself a confidant. Find yourself someone that you can open up an LLC with.
Yeah.
Find yourself somebody that you could, go to Bed Bath and Beyond, and and get some good thread sheets,
Yeah,
but she got the coupon to save 40%.
She cut the coupon.
You know what I mean? Or maybe digital.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, my parents, man. I to your point about marriage, man. They are like for me like the blueprint, man. Like, cause they just been through so much together. Like, and you know, my dad, every time he comes home, man, he's just excited to see her.
God bless him.
Yeah, it's just like, you know, my sister and I was like, these two are too cheesy, man. Like, what? But like, they just genuinely like.
We need to sit with your father because when I'm out, I try to make sure I stay out for till the wee hours of the morning. I'm like,
my dad, old man swag, man.
Nah, it's so good. But listen, internet's ademforcongress.com. That's ADM for Congress.com.
Yeah.
Check out everything these guys going on.
Yeah.
How long is that people could vote?
So election day is June 26th.
Okay.
So yeah, that's when people can.
And how long does that go for?
Oh, it's just one day. One day.
Oh, so just one day.
Yeah.
But they have up to. So you have up to all those months to campaign.
Yeah.
Get some videos going.
Yeah.
Told you got to get in them Yeezys.
Yeah, man. I need to get them Yeezys, man.
Young boys are like, yo, yeah. I want to be like a Dem.
Yeah, man. I gotta get them knockoffs, man. Them Yeezys too expensive, man. Yeah, but I can't play Pete like that, man. If you got to connect, man, I'm down.
Man. Oh man, listen.
Yeah, man.
But ADM. Well, let me do this again, okay? Internet. I want you to log on to ADM4Congress.com.
Yeah.
I will say go on Twitter and hit him, but I don't know how to pronounce all this. ADMBUNKK. It'll pop up once you do
I'm
that.
sure you'll get it.
No, it's great. It's great. You know what? It's great. I sit down with a lot of entrepreneurs, athletes, artists. Haven't sat down with really somebody of the political understanding, the amazing background that you have coming from Harvard, and really just trying to make change. You know, I look forward to it, man. I look forward to. I pray. I say prayers that you get in and you can make changes, man.
Yeah,
you know?
I'm humble, man. I'm again, man. I've been big up to you, man. I've known since Combat Jack, and
rest in peace.
Yeah, just been a big fan, man. Plus, you like the ultimate sneakerhead, man.
Yeah. So unfortunately,
like, all the kids around the hood, man, they just envy you, man. The collection.
Yeah, I think that it's more easier for people to get now, and you know. We evolved as a sneaker culture, and it's younger and younger. You know, like I was saying earlier,
like people are wearing Jordans. Like even as old as these shoes, like he's wild to me. Like
it's crazy too. As a parent, you think about it, it's like, you know, I remember my mother bought me a pair of sneakers. And she'd be like, "Yo, you're gonna wear these until the fucking soles are talking." And oh, yes, they did. But these days, like, yo, they gotta have a rotation. It's tough on parents. And to be honest with you, again, not to go over this, but there's a lot of single parents. Yeah, it's not easy on a mother to buy a $250 pair of fucking LeBrons, and then them say like, "Oh no, I need a rotation." Fuck rotation.
What? I used to wear it. So man, real quick, man, I used to wear it. I'll never forget it. I used to wear the Air Attacks from Payless. Man, I wore them shoes down, man. I thought I was out there jumping like Jumpman.
Those were the struggle buggles.
Oh,
but listen, happy days are ahead.
Happy days. Yeah, indeed.
Internet's one last time. I want you to pay attention to this election coming up on June 26th.
Yeah.
In the meantime, log on to ADM4Congress.com. Check out what he's got going on. Leave him a message. If you can leave a donation, leave a donation. Yeah. But more importantly, just see what he's got going on and learn about and that's why I wanted to have you on, because I wanted to, your story is important. That, you know, people could say like somebody from Harvard, you know, don't judge people. Don't generalize. Like, you know, people, it's not like he's doing something beneath him as far as to do Congress that maybe other people, he's doing what he loves.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I like the story, and even just how much your father and mother has given to you. I think it'll be a proud moment for them to see you become a congressman. Man.
Yeah. I'll be humbled by that, man. I'll be humbled by that. Again, I came from very, very modest beginnings, man. So my parents have been two biggest influences in my life. So it would be a great honor and I'd be truly humbled to serve others who are just like my family, trying to work hard, make ends meet, and just try to provide for their families. So
Sure.
definitely,
It starts somewhere.
it did.
But you're going to start.
Yeah, man.
Internet's Adem Bunkeddeko.
Bunkeddeko.
We can get it right. I apologize for
Yeah,
butchering
man.
it.
No, it's all good. Trust me. I it took me a while to learn how to say it too, man.
Internet's Adem Bunkeddeko. See you next episode. Cheer. Internets, if you enjoyed that episode, I want you to email me at thepremiumpeachshow@gmail.com. Again, that email is thepremiumpeachshow@gmail.com. Let me know what you thought. And listen, all my advertisers out there, all my big businesses, my small businesses, whoever, a friend, a store, you want to advertise on the Premium Pete Show? Email me at thepremiumpeachshow@gmail.com and let's get working. Okay? Make sure you subscribe, rate, leave a comment on all streaming platforms of the podcast. Tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you next episode.